Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we're getting a good gander at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations, and I'm going to be doing it again today. Today is the first day of March 2026. You've tuned into a live tarot throw. Here's what's on the schedule for today's show. First, I got 2 cards for now, 2 cards for later. I'm going to throw a total of 4 tarot cards. The first 2 cards will give you a message for right now, and the second 2 cards you can take with you to go for later when you need it. 2 cards for now, 2 cards for later. After that, I'm going to be bold and daring and pick fights with extraterrestrials. First, I'm going to annoy the Annunaki. Then I'm going to provoke the Pleiadians. By the way, it might be a long show. I've got quite a few notes. But when I'm done mixing it up with extraterrestrials, it's time for tarot for the audience. So if you're tuning in live, you can check my instructions in the chat, and you can make a request for the second part of the show. Now, I think the second part of the show is going to be in a little while. Usually it's about 30 minutes, but it may go over 40 minutes because I got a lot of things to say about these 2 quote-unquote extraterrestrial groups. All right, so we're going to start off the show with 2 cards for now, 2 cards for later, inspirational messages to pump you up whenever you need them, like right now, and 1 for later. So let's go to the tarot cam. All right. Hey, the camera looks good. The studio looks good. The tarot table looks good. I got the neon deck here ready. By the way, some regular StarCard podcast viewers will say, Breakaway Ray, you're getting a late start today. There's already daylight. So yeah, you're right. How about that? Anyway, let's throw 2 cards for now, 2 cards for later. This is for the StarCard podcast viewer. Whenever you're catching this recording, I know I'm in my time bubble here on March 1st on the West Coast. But wherever you are, whenever you are, this message is for you. You can use this message. If you like it, you can use it. I don't know what those cards are. How many are there? My eyes are closed, so it feels like there's 2 there. I'm going to put it in the 2 for later position. I don't know if these cards are face up or not. Are there 2 there? There are. Okay, well, that means I'm just going to go right off the top and right off the bottom here for the other part of the message. I'm opening my eyes now. Let's see what's going on. Wow. So 2 cards for later. Let's take a look at what we got. First, we have the 3 of Pentacles. He's studying something new, like he just started the new grade at Hogwarts, if you like. He talks about teamwork and building something and implementing something. And then check this out. We have the King of Cups. And I'm going to read to you about the King of Cups. Because I think what the message is, everybody, is that later on, when you have a moment of repose, it's not only okay to get in touch with your spiritual self, your higher self, your spiritual side, okay? But it's also okay to check the library and check for learning so that you can advance your understanding in your role as the King of Cups. Male or female, you could be cool like the King of Cups. Where's my tarot book? I'm going to read to you about the King of Cups right now. All right, thank you for your patience. Here, I found it, everybody. The King of Cups, a kind, considerate person, maybe even a father figure, a person interested in the arts, balanced, a deep man with a quiet demeanor, quiet power. I know like there's like a trend here in the United States, from what I can tell on social media, that, people who are not quiet seem to influence a lot of people and wield a lot of power just because people don't want to deal with them. But in this case, we're encouraging everyone to maintain a calm demeanor because we're only going to use our power when we need to, and we're going to work together with the energies of the people that we're working with. And that does require us to learn not just about other people and be empathic towards them, but also to understand, for example, sociology and the interaction of how people work in communities. That seems like a very elementary message, but in today's society, when we have young people under the age of 18 constantly looking at phones, they may miss out on the lessons of community. All right, so for later on, everybody, it's rewarding to be the King of Cups and to sit on that throne, but it's also rewarding to have subjects, that are at their best and knowing that you help them along. And so let's all prepare to study. Let's go inward like the hermit, and then let's go outward also and see what else everyone else studied and learned. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. All this stuff has been around for thousands of years. You'll see what I mean when I'm done talking for the next 40 minutes. Meanwhile, that's for later. That's for later on, right? You got your moment of repose, get in touch with your higher self, recollect yourself, and then build some knowledge for the next day. But for right now, talk about dramatic cards. And we talked about learning over here too, didn't we? Well, we have the Hierophant, which talks about learning, and it also talks about, social acceptance. We were just talking about society and being civilized and learning how to be civilized. Again, that's going to be a theme today. And then you have the Two of Swords, which says, maybe there's a decision to come, or we are at a crossroads. So the woman in the Two of Swords card has, tools in both hands, but she is blindfolded. She doesn't have the information yet. But as soon as she takes off that blindfold, she knows just what to do and she can do it. So, hey, everybody, for right now, let's learn where we're at, because I know we have all the tools to make magic happen, okay? And then later on, when we're done recognizing where we're at, let's study where we're going to go as a group, as a collective, as a society, a civilization, and a species. Whoa, those are a lot of heavy vocabulary words, Breakaway Ray. Tarot World, thank you very much. I'm trying to keep it light. But yeah, you're exactly right, Tarot World, of course. Of course you are. Thank you so much for helping me out here. So the Tarot World already has, I know I've taken notes, everybody. Everyone knows that. But really, the Tarot World has the other half of the script, which I don't see. All right, let's set these aside. And I think I'm coming upstairs now. Right, hang on. I'm adjusting the table. Okay. All right. So this is for entertainment purposes only. If you're familiar with me, I like to take situations and make it funny, make it light, and I think that if you study comedy, for example, I'm not saying I'm actually any good at this. I make myself laugh for sure. Okay. But they say that, first of all, I think that the best psychologists are comedians, because they help you laugh through your situations. That lifts your spirits. So I'm going to be trying to do a little bit of that. But I am going to be speaking in a provocative way towards extraterrestrial beings. And I say extraterrestrial, meaning they live off planet, most of them. Okay. I'm going to be, in a sense, talking trash to them. I'm going to be trying to do it in a light way. And you know what? If it's not a wise idea, God will strike me down. But you were here when I gave it a shot, because I think that we all need to acquaint ourselves with really what's going on outside our atmosphere here on planet Earth. We already know we don't have all the information. We don't have any of the technology except what's inside of us. So anyway, I'm going to stick to my notes. Let's check and see what I got going here. First up, the Annunaki. So I may have some of this information incorrect about the Annunaki and the Pleiadians. I willingly admit I might have some of this information wrong. But then I'm also begging everyone's forgiveness, because I'm, compiling data from multiple sources, and, it's not institutional learning, which I'm particularly good at. Okay. This is extracurricular learning. It's kind of fun. But I don't want to say it's like a hobby, right? This is actually much more important than a hobby or pursuit. It's not like I'm studying comic books here. Okay. I'm talking about real beings, real sentient beings intermingling and interacting and influencing our life down here, and we don't even know it. All right. First up, Breakaway Ray annoys the Annunaki. Okay. The Annunaki, as far as I know, they've been attributed to the planet Nibiru, or Planet X, and they may also be the same planet. I'm not sure, but maybe you've heard of them. Okay, so Nibiru or Planet X is in our solar system, kind of. I think that we would all be surprised to think that our sun was not alone in our solar system. There are some theories out there, it's probably science, that there's another star and that our solar system is at least binary, meaning there's two stars orbiting around each other. But guess what? It gets better. You know, there's even evidence that I came across that our solar system could be trinary. It's got 3 stars going on. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Okay, don't tell me the 8 or 9 planets that are in our solar system are the only ones there. I've done several shows about this already. We already know there's dozens of them up there. We just don't know about it. We just don't know about it. There's a lot we don't know about, huh? All right, so anyway, who are the Anunnaki? They've been around for a long, long time. Their planet comes and orbits, comes into our solar system, our section of the solar system, every something like 35,000 years, 36,000 years or something like that. You know, we only live, if we're lucky, to 70, 80, 90, maybe 100 if we're lucky. Okay, but these people live much, much longer. So, you know, that return trip for, 36,000 years, that sure seems like a long time with our memory wipe and everything else that we have to overcome to understand what's going on surface planet Earth. I'm throwing ideas up here so that we all get these ideas and we don't all have to start over from scratch and listen to like 17 different people just to come up with what I'm trying to present this morning on the West Coast on March 1st, 2026. Okay, so the Anunnaki have been around for a long, long, long time. And they are, I guess you would say, like the landlords of planet Earth. Again, I could have this wrong. Okay? But they are definitely the guys that mixed us up in a lab. Okay? I believe that. They're not the only ones that have, messed around with human DNA. Okay? And there's lots and lots of places you can go for an exploration of those ideas. Okay? Right now, I want to give a tip of the cap to Rosalind Franklin. You probably don't know who she is. I did not. Okay. But you've probably heard of Watson and Crick, right? Watson and Crick were the scientists who, quote unquote, discovered the structure of DNA. It was the form of the double helix. But I think the story goes that they actually spotted the work in their neighbor Rosalind Franklin's office. And then they, I'm trying to think of a euphemistic way of saying that they hijacked that idea and took credit for it. Rosalind Franklin passed away, and Nobel Prizes are not awarded posthumously. So in lots of ways, Rosalind Franklin is practically lost to history, I'm sorry to say. But anyway, that's not the kind of DNA science that we're talking about right now. Let's stick to my notes. Okay, so they mix us up in a lab, these Anunnaki, and they created beings like us. So the story goes, according to a writer named Sitchin, whom I have not read, okay, they needed gold for their planet. And they needed gold because they messed up their own atmosphere. And apparently gold in an aerosol form or something like that is going to repair the damage to their atmosphere of their planet, which I'm going to call Nibiru for right now. Okay. There's also something, by the way, called liquid gold. And the only person I've really heard talk about this is the late Raynetta Jones. And I've seen her on James Rink's show, the late James Rink show, Super Soldier Talk. And also, of course, she was like on Typical Skeptic podcast 19 times. So anyway, I know that she spoke about liquid gold and how some beings that are not like us value liquid gold. It's like the nectar of the gods in a way. Again, not prepared to talk about liquid gold today. I'm just throwing those ideas out there for you. Okay. But so we're all programmed to go for gold. Think about the gold rushes in the United States, which supposedly happened in the 1800s. All of a sudden, the news of gold on the West Coast or in the Yukon, got out, and humans everywhere dropped everything and had to go there to go find gold. They were just driven. Okay. So let's see what else I got going here on my notes. All right. So I understand now some of the things I've learned about the Anunnaki. They may be beings that are categorized as tall whites. I don't think they're the only ones people refer to as tall whites, but I'm going to go ahead and call them the Anunnaki for right now. They're obviously taller than normal humans. They may be very They may have a pale complexion. And indeed, I believe that they're kind of frail, especially if you're here on Earth, because their gravity is lighter, so their bodies aren't as dense, and you got to be real careful. Like I believe I heard a secret space program experiencer on Super Soldier Talk say, you don't want to like touch them. You got to be careful not to bruise them accidentally. You're not shaking hands with these guys, okay? But there's more to it, because I heard another secret space program experiencer, more than one, where they discuss the Anunnaki's attitude towards humans on surface planet Earth. They would be surprised, for example, if you, let's just cut right to the chase. Don't use the second person with an Anunnaki. Do not speak to them as if they are a colleague or as if you're even in the room with them. Think about how we're trained. I know not here in the United States so much, but we understand the general idea. When you're amongst royals, you don't look at royals in the eye, okay? You don't even speak first. You only speak if you're spoken to, and you're not really as good a being as they are, because they're royal. They got their royal blood, their blue blood, blah, 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 whatever, okay? I'm not sold. You're not convincing me, okay? But anyway, I'm telling you what I learned about the Anunnaki. They kind of have a superiority complex, okay? In general, I'm sure there's some very nice Anunnaki out there. I invite any Anunnaki to come on STARCARD podcast. I'd love to interview you. It sounds very fascinating. Think about how much we could learn from you directly, and you could let us know what proper social boundaries are, because we're going to be interacting with you soon. There's no way around it, right? You guys know we got to help each other out. Okay. All right. So anyway, let me continue with my notes here. You do not address an Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki does not address you by your name. When you go to their planet, you get a number. Does this sound creepily familiar? 20th century Central Europe. Okay. If you're visiting there, maybe you got some kind of number right there. And that's what you're addressed as when you visit the planet of the Anunnaki. All right. That's one thing that goes on there. Yeah, they look down on us. Oh, let's see. Yeah. I want you to think about, I hope that this is not the case. I realize that artificial intelligences do not possess a soul. I realize that. I understand that. But I think, everybody hearing my voice right now, if you've seen any of the Terminator movies, you know that artificial intelligences are still formidable, and you still need to treat them with respect. And, it goes back to that golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. All right. So, but what I'm getting at is I believe that there are some people out there who treat machines, artificial intelligences, or who knows anything, right? Because everything has consciousness, okay? But if you don't treat it with respect, then it learns that that's the system and that's the way it works. So, I would say that this is like a warning for our friends who are the Anunnaki. Don't treat us like, we're lower species and we're below you, we're beneath you, because I know, you're kind of scared of what happens when we all realize how strong and powerful we are. You want us on your side, okay? So don't treat us like that, and we'll be, courteous and respectful to you, of course, as well. Which is, again, I'm not leaving out, when you speak to an artificial intelligence, I hope you're wise enough to treat it kindly. Treat it the way you want to be treated. All right. So there's something else I need to say about the Anunnaki. I'm sorry to say this, and even though it might be a very tenuous string, a tenuous attachment, very long and drawn out, like when you pull chewing gum apart, okay? But there was a planet between Mars and Jupiter that got destroyed, and a lot of this same stuff was going on over there. We call it I'm just going to use the word ritual right now. Just going to use the word ritual, but it's not a happy ritual or whatever. And the Anunnaki apparently practice this as well in some form. And they are what we would say vampiric as an adjective, vampiric in nature. In order for them to stay healthy, again, I hope I've got all this right. I'm doing my best to put all the data that I've accumulated together, okay? I understand, like any of us, if you really needed, an IV, for example, okay? An IV, which is man-made or human-made, it has all the nutrients that you need, some kind of plasma drip that goes right into your vein. That's great, okay? But there's also stories, when someone, like an Alaskan hunter, they've been hungry for days. They finally kill a walrus. The first thing they do is they drink the blood. And I would say that the blood of the walrus, having just been killed, probably has like a little extra ingredient, where the walrus left off going, wow, I'm overly excited. This is the end of my life. What is going on? Okay. That pep, that charge is exactly what's in the blood when the hunter drinks it. So anyway, one of the ways that these Anunnaki stay alive is through practices like that. But here's the practice that really strikes me and troubles me, and it's something that we're all aware of, or we all need to become aware of in a hurry, and that is mind control. The Anunnaki practice mind control, even the most dastardly forms that we've heard about, where you implement torture just to control someone, and they do it on their own children. I mean, if you want to be pragmatic about it, how easy is it? How efficient is it? Okay, you have a kid. You don't want that kid growing up with a personality and they're talking back to you. Okay, you want them to carry on the mission, and they need to do exactly what you say. Okay, I'm talking about off-planet species, off-planet races like the Anunnaki. There's an example of this on surface planet Earth. Check out the Imagination podcast with Emma. She has people on the show all the time who have undergone that kind of thing. So I want to present all those things about the Anunnaki. Yay. Okay, so now I'm getting to the point. Yeah, I'm getting to the point now where I'm going to, okay, no, wait, I still have more. Time out. Okay, so here's some notes I made about things. If you encounter Anunnaki, first of all, there's no handshakes, right? You don't want to do that. Those guys are China dolls, and you might give them cooties, as a matter of fact, too. With your, humans, we're so poisoned. We walk around with the craziest, microbiological things going on, and it's like living in a junkyard down here. And it makes us strong. Whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So just be prepared. You have a powerful presence. You are a powerful biome by yourself with all the microbiology on your body. Okay, so when you're encountering Anunnaki, there's no handshakes. Okay, give them some space. Okay, and expect intense, narcissistic, horrified interaction, if any, which is filled with reproach towards you. Just expect it. You're like a disgusting dog that came into my house, and you made a mess in my hallway, and I didn't even have a chance to get you out of my house. That's how you can expect to be treated by the Anunnaki. Hey, Anunnaki, prove me wrong. Come on my show. Let's have a cordial conversation. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, and then let's see what else. Oh, you know what? I'd like to characterize the Anunnaki as absent, ineffective landlords, more like a slumlord. More like a slumlord. They're not worried about the quality of creatures in their buildings or whether it's hospitable or even healthy for them. You just keep paying me my rent. I'm your slumlord. And by the way, I'm a slumlord, and I got my hands into all of the city organizations. You can't really complain about me because I'm in charge. Okay, there might be a mayor, but really, he's friends with me. We go golfing every Wednesday. Okay, so what have I got here? Hey, he sounds like a real comic book villain, this imaginary Anunnaki guy I'm talking about. All right, so here I go, everybody. I made this list of things you don't say or do with an Anunnaki, and I actually have to go from the bottom up. I'm going to go from the bottom up. Ready? Here I go. Things not to say or do when you meet an Anunnaki. All right, first of all, you're not going out for drinks with an Anunnaki. You wouldn't like what he wants to drink, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with you. Don't even ask. Okay? Next, again, don't use any second person interaction. Do not say you. Do not address them directly. Okay? All right. Here are some things that you don't say to an Anunnaki. Just a minute. I'll be right with you. Here's another one. Hi, my name is Breakaway Ray. You can call me Ray. Nice to meet you. Don't say that to an Anunnaki. Here's another one you don't say to an Anunnaki. How's your day going so far? You know what? You don't say that to an Anunnaki, and you don't say it to Breakaway Ray. See yesterday's episode. Okay. Next up. All right. Here's something else you don't say to an Anunnaki. Hey, I like the Anunnaki. I don't care what the Pleiadians said about you. All right, here's the last thing you don't say to an Anunnaki. Ready? High five. All right. One species down. Oh, sorry, one race down. One set of extraterrestrials down. Here we go. Come on my show, Annunaki. We'll have fun. Next up. All right, so before I get to the Pleiadians, that's right, I'm gonna I'm gonna provoke some Pleiadians. Okay, before I provoke the Pleiadians, I'm gonna offer an introduction, which is a story here on Earth from 30 years ago. And I promise you it's related. When I get to the very end of my provocation of the Pleiadians, you'll see where I'm going with this. Okay, so first of all, let's see what I've got here. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to be talking about the use of alcohol right now, and I'm apologizing in advance. I want to let everyone know that your health is very important, and alcohol doesn't help. Now, I realize that there are some studies that say, you know, like for Mediterranean style people, you know, a glass of wine a day, it has riboflavonoids or something like that in there, and it actually helps your blood. But I won't advise or recommend that people drink alcohol. You know, you have to use your own discernment. And if you do so, I hope you do so responsibly. That is the most important thing, that you're safe, because alcohol is a depressant and it does slow down your reflexes. And also, I want to point out that as a depressant, that's not what you see glamorized in media. You don't really see how alcohol is a depressant. You usually see how alcohol somehow makes you giddy and happy and fancy free, and all of a sudden you're having fun. Well, and then you have to follow logically that, you know, I guess if that's the only way I have fun, I guess I got to get ready to booze it up the next day. I'm being facetious. I'm not encouraging anyone to drink alcohol. All right. Now, let's see if I got this right. Yeah. So this whole conversation about alcohol and how it's presented in the media, you know, it's supposed to be like, this is how you have fun. You know, you have some beers with some friends, for example. Nothing wrong with that. I do it too. Nothing wrong with it. Okay. But I want to say in general, okay, that may wear off after a while. Certainly, as you hear from some psychics, it wears off after several incarnations on surface planet Earth. Okay. You're kind of done with what you used to do at the fraternity house. You know, you're in your 40s now. You're looking for something else going on. Okay. So it reminds me of a joke from a movie, Tropical Thunder. I'm not even saying I like the movie at all. And I'm not even saying I like this actor at all. There was an excellent joke in the movie. And I think the actor's name was Martin Sheen. And he was like in an airplane. And, you know, they were going to be in transit. They were going to be traveling to wherever they were going to travel. They were dressed as soldiers, you know, Tropic Thunder, whatever it was. But anyway, he was reading the book, Great Expectations. He was reading Great Expectations. And then someone came up to him and said, hey, you know, what book are you reading? Great Expectations. And the person asked, how do you like it? And the character played by Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen, one of the Sheen gentlemen. Anyway, they were asked, how do you like it? And he said, it's not everything I thought it was going to be. And that's kind of what it is. You know, when you see the image of people having fun, and then there's the Clydesdale horses or pictures of the mountains and the, okay, sounds awesome. Great programming. Not real life, right? Not real life. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you a story that's real life, but it's going to sound like I should have put it on Instagram. And it does involve drinking beer. Okay. I didn't put this on Instagram. There is no Breakaway Ray, as far as I know, on Instagram. I tried to set up a STARCARD podcast channel and I got confounded. So I'm just focusing on YouTube right now. I also have it set up at Rumble, but again, I'm not uploading over there. I'm having fun with my friends here at YouTube. This is great. Okay. So let's see, where was I going with this? Okay. So this didn't happen recently, everybody. This happened 30 years ago. So when this story sounds like glamorous, you know, Breakaway Ray on holiday, having beer drinking contests. Okay, that's how boring my life is. I have to remember the fun I had 35 years ago. That's fun for me. So I'm going to share this story with you. I'm at a resort in the Caribbean. It's one of those quote unquote all-inclusive resorts, but you do have to pay for the drinks at the bar, and that's fine too. So anyway, there was this one night where they had a beer drinking contest. Little dinky 12-ounce cups, beer, probably American beer. And, it was just for recreation, part of a show before they had dinner. It's like part of the entertainment. And I volunteered and I went down and I got to be in a contest with a couple of gentlemen from Italy. And I won. I'm not bragging. Okay. But I want to say, like, from my point of view, in those days, in the 1990s, this is why the story gets long, everybody. Okay. This is why it's going to be a long show. Okay. So in the 1990s, my perspective was, they probably don't have like the same kind of drinking prowess, maybe, that we would consider prowess here in the United States in Italy. After all, in Italy, again, I mentioned this just a few moments ago. You have a glass of wine with dinner. You have a balanced lifestyle. You're not, binge drinking on Friday and Saturday nights in general. That's not what we think of when we think of people in Italy. Hey, my Italian fratelli proved me wrong. Call me at STARCARD Podcast. We can do one over the air. That'd be a lot of fun. But anyway, it was not like, for any kind of ego boost, but we had a little contest. And these two gentlemen from Italy, they became my friends. I hung out with them. They're very nice guys. Everything was cool. Everything was mellow. So anyway, a couple of days later, at the same resort, we're in the disco. I'm hanging out with a dude from Spain. His name is Paco. Paco works at the place. Hey, my Spanish viewers, I apologize for the stereotypical name. Paco was his nickname. That's what he asked me to call him. His name is Paco. It was not his real name. So anyway, Paco and I are standing there. Paco works at the club. And Paco is one of those entertainment dudes. And he was the one that arranged the first beer drinking contest. And, I helped him with some other shows because, I got a flair for the theater. And I was always like anxious to participate in their shows after dinner. So anyway, Paco and I are hanging out at the disco. And then in walks in some other vacationers. One of them, amongst them, there was a group of Germans for sure, but these people were from Germany. One of them was a tall guy. He had to be at least 6 inches taller than me, maybe 8 inches taller than me. And he was certainly heavier than me, at least by 30 pounds, because he's taller. And he was he was pretty athletic. He was a pretty fit gentleman, very fit gentleman. So anyway, he came in, and at this resort, they give out medals. Like, they have tennis contests. They even have a bocce ball contest. Don't ask me how I missed the contest. I don't know. I would have walked away with like all the medals. They have a swimming contest. Anyway, this fellow from Germany, I'm going to give him the nickname Jan. I don't remember what his name is. I think I wrote it in my book, which I didn't publish. So sorry, you can't buy this one. So anyway, we'll just call this gentleman Jan. Okay. So Jan comes in with his friends. He's been having a great vacation. He's got a smile on his face. Again, he's very fit. And he's very friendly. He doesn't have an attitude problem at all. He's a cool dude. And apparently I'm not. So anyway, he came in and he was wearing, his medals, because they just awarded the medals, and everyone went from the area where everyone congregates, the theater area. After they received the medals, everyone went right to the disco. He didn't take his medals off or go to his room and put them away. He was just wearing the medals he just got. Why not? It's vacation. Have fun. If it's your birthday, you got a birthday crown, walk around with your birthday crown all day. Doesn't mean you're a real king, okay? But you're a king for a day. Enjoy it. That's great. Jan walks in with all his medals. I say to Paco, I could beat that guy in a beer drinking contest. And then Paco wanted to hear more. I said, well, check it out. First of all, he's very healthy, okay? He probably doesn't do the kind of drinking that I'm familiar with. Again, the 1990s. I just get out of college. I live in Southern California. Some of the people in my social set are quite good at drinking beer. Let's just put it that way. Okay, they're party animals. Let me repeat the high school motto, our class motto. I was the guy that coined the motto. We study less, we party more. We're the class of 84. So anyway, back to Jan, who is wearing all the medals. He comes in, and I explained to Paco, first of all, he's very healthy. He doesn't look like he's a boozer, okay? He probably doesn't participate that way. Also, if you think about it, beer in Germany at that time, from what I understood, okay, and I think I had been to Germany already, okay, their beer is much more delicious. I'm not saying that they don't know how to pound beers in Germany, okay, but they don't really need to, because first of all, their beer is much stronger by alcohol content, right? They might be like 6, 7, 8%, maybe 9% if you're drinking a Pils. In America, in the United States, they like cap it at like 3 or 4%. So in the United States, if you want to get hammered, you got a cannonball, you got a beer bong, you got to drink, 1 beer every 10 minutes. you have to have like a 12 pack just to catch a buzz. I know that sounds like I'm exaggerating. Again, I don't drink like this anymore. I'm just telling you about something that happened 35, 36 years ago. So anyway, I explained everything to Paco. I said, I have some skills from my experience. I bet I could drink that guy under the table. And so we had a beer drinking contest, and he was smiling. Well, yeah, this will be fun. He was thinking maybe he's going to get another medal out of it. I wasn't trying to like embarrass him, but I did. Okay, so Paco used his tickets and he got 2 bottles of beer. Pretty sure they were Corona. And then when he said go, we both tipped up our bottles. I was done in a couple of gulps, put down the bottle, and then I watched him finish drinking his beer. It took a little while. The whole crowd was watching. Anyway, when he was done, he saw me sitting there. My bottle was empty, and he was like suspicious. He's what happened? Did you pour it out? Is this a trick? Is there a bucket on the ground? And like his friends were around. Oh, no, he really did it. So then he wanted a rematch, and because he didn't know how it happened, and he wanted to win, I guess. So anyway, I said, all right, sounds good to me. I'm not paying for the beer. Paco set us up with 2 more beers. I won again, but he was a close second because a lot of the beer was being poured down his cheeks and his shirt was all wet. I didn't mean to like dampen that guy's vacation. I was just having fun. But anyway, I wanted to tell that story. Again, I don't drink like that. This is from a day gone by. It's a funny story. It's not going to be on Instagram. My life is not that glamorous. I'm remembering fun from the 20th century. I'm waiting for fun in the 21st century. I'm hoping to have some fun right now. Now I'm going to talk about the Pleiadians. Okay, let me see if I got all my beer drinking contest notes covered here. Yeah, I think I covered it. Good. All right. Hey, everybody. Perhaps you've heard of the Pleiades, the 7 sisters. It's a constellation in the sky. Some people say that our star is actually part of the Pleiades. I mean, if you think about how large the galaxy is, how far apart stars are, we could be in the middle of the Pleiades inside of that constellation. And from our perspective, it just looks like dots in the sky, and you connect them and you see the 7 sisters. There's actually thousands of stars that are part of the Pleiadian constellation. From what I understand from more than one source, the Pleiades, from what I understand from more than one source, is that the Pleiades is a stellar nursery. It's where new stars are born. It's like a new neighborhood. They're developing a neighborhood. You see a lot of houses, but they're not quite finished. They're still going to put windows in. They haven't put the siding on the houses yet. You really can't live in those things, but you can see that it's going to be a nice neighborhood. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mentioned so if it's a stellar nursery, it's reasonable to presume, based on what we're taught about evolution, okay, based on what we're told about evolution, it might be reasonable to assume that in the Pleiades, maybe that stellar nursery, those stars are so young that organic life has not developed yet. Organic sentient life. It's possible. Now, having said that, we know, a lot of us know already, there are Pleiadians. So let's explore more about who the Pleiadians might be. Yeah, the Pleiadians, we see them throughout our history, especially our ancient history around the world. We hear about the Space Brothers, people coming down from the sky, and they're sharing knowledge with us, and they're upgrading our civilization. We were going along like this, and the Space Brothers came down and showed us how to do this. And then our lives changed, and we left the old ways behind. Okay, let me see if I got that right. When the Space Brothers show up, they're tall, they're fair-skinned, they're light-haired, and they bring knowledge to humans on surface planet Earth to advance their civilization. All right, if you go to today's description, you'll see a link to a video with Penny Kelly. Penny Kelly claims to have a tie to the Pleiadians. She also talks about civilization development. I want to point that out as I continue with my notes on the Pleiades. According to Penny Kelly and others, Pleiadians are born and go to school not necessarily to learn new things so much as to remember what they already learned in previous lives. That's right. If there's a newborn Pleiadian, okay, you're going to go through the life of being an infant and a toddler. You're going to be hanging out with your mom a lot, okay? And then when you're ready for school, part of what they do at school is help you reawaken your consciousness to remember what you did in your last life and all your lives before then. That's a lot of knowledge. It could all like be in a book, but it's not hard to do. If you can access your spirit has all that information. You can bring it in. You just got a new vehicle. It's like, I don't like the concept of leasing, but it's like you were leasing a car for a while. That car, for whatever reason, good or bad, I don't need it anymore. I'm getting a new car. So I'm getting a new life. I'm a Pleiadian toddler. I'm going to start school, and my teacher's going to show me how to remember who I really am. Okay. I want to say, by the way, we can do the same thing. We can do the same thing. It's a little bit more of a struggle for us here on Surface Planet Earth because of the way that we were all brought up and, the nature of Surface Planet Earth for the last 50 years for sure. But things are changing, right? We keep on hearing about how things are changing and how we're breaking away and all that stuff. So if you want to access, your concurrent lives, your previous and future lives, the knowledge that you already have in your soul, you can do it. Although that's not the pursuit of today's program. All right, so let me continue. These Pleiadians have technology that seems advanced to us, don't they? Every time they come down, they have technology that seems advanced to us. Just coming down in a spaceship, that seems advanced to us. They seem advanced spiritually because we don't know any of the science behind spirituality. So this is a common theme here at STARCARD Podcast. And if you would like to go to the description, there's a link to, I forget the gentleman's name, but he was on the Cosmic Brilliance podcast. It's linked in my description. He talks about all the technology, a lot of it, which has been stolen and hijacked from us. So that's a thing that really troubles me. It's clear that we are all, spiritual beings, but our understanding of it has been drowned out by religion and media, and we don't understand it. Okay, they might understand it in other places around the world where they haven't lost their spiritual traditions, but this whole business here in, like, for example, 20th century United States, where you only have 5 senses and anything spiritual is woo-woo and it's ghosts and you should be scared of it. Okay, that's mind control with a capital K. Okay, there's nothing to be scared of. It's part of us, but they don't want us to explore it. Break away, everybody. All right, so I point out that the CIA has something called the Gateway document. It actually explains how a lot of this works. A lot of people on the internet explain how these things work anyway. It can be found in lots of books, but it's all over the place, right? It's not institutionalized. There's no degree, except for, the gentleman from New Thinking Aloud, Jeffrey Mishlove, who created his own PhD in the paranormal. That's not in general, that's like not a degree you can go study, okay? But anyway, if the CIA provided a gateway document and they ripped out page 25, to conceal the spiritual nature of life on Earth, they're taking away a tool that we can all use if we were just aware of it. Okay, so we're talking about the CIA here. CIA was established by Operation Paperclip. All right, get ready. We're going to tie science and history together here. Okay, did I say Operation Paperclip? Operation Paperclip took over after World War II here in the United States. It's where oh my gosh. It's where the United States invited over people from the Axis powers in the Central Europe, and basically our society was transformed. They reshaped our civilization with mind control with a capital K in multiple ways, in multiple dimensions, across the board for everybody with media and education, but also individually, and even through things that might enter our body. We'll just stop right there. Now, so I talked about those people from World War II who, basically established the CIA after World War II and transformed our civilization. Well, that kind of changes things around because now you have to think about, how did World War II end? Well, I'm not going to explore the story of Antarctic Germans too much, but at the same time as you had Operation Paperclip, you also had another group called the Antarctic Germans. The Antarctic Germans left planet Earth. They went to the moon first, and they went to planet Mars. I don't want to speak for the off-world Germans, although I wouldn't mind speaking with them or to them. Hey, any off-world Germans out there, I welcome you to STARCARD Podcast. Come and enlighten us. We're curious about you. we want to become better neighbors. But let me continue with what my notes are about these Germans in space, starting with Antarctic Germans. Okay, so they leave planet Earth to create and manipulate civilizations off-world. So you have Operation Paperclip taking care of on-world planet Earth using those tools. And meanwhile, the Antarctic Germans are taking those same tools off planet. Okay, and yes, it's mind control. And they learned it, guess what? In part from the Anunnaki, because it's a long tradition. It's been going on for thousands of years. Yeah, all right. So, we call it magic and witchcraft and the occult. It's a science. It's a science. Hey, think about your portable phone that you have in your pocket or your hand or on your table over there. If you went back in time, just 80 years and you showed that to like your young grandfather, he would say it's magic. What is that thing? How can you do that? Same thing going on. They removed spirituality from our lives. So we have no idea. And anything that happens that's spiritual looks like magic. Happens all the time at StarCard Podcast where I'm throwing tarot cards. All right. So let's continue some more about space Germans and perhaps Pleiadians, because there's a secret space program experiencer I mentioned a lot. He is the author of The Man with Periwinkle Eyes. He's on volume 4, going on volume 5 right now. His name is John Whitberg, and John Whitberg reminds us that space travel is time travel. Space travel is time travel. Okay, and if you haven't heard this yet, think about now the Antarctic Germans. They have gone off planet. They've established civilizations around our galaxy and beyond. Okay, and guess what? Would be a good idea if you were going to do that kind of thing. You pick out a planet. It's a beautiful planet, great for human habitation. But you know what? There's already people there. You know what we can do? We could travel back in time before they were there, and then we can occupy the planet. Okay, time travel takes place. So if these space brothers, these Pleiadians are, as John Whitberg suggests, space Germans, they're just traveling back through Earth's history and giving us technology that really we already had here on planet Earth, but for various reasons, we're living in a post-apocalyptic surface planet Earth right now, and things are changing even as we speak. Although it looks pretty apocalyptic right now, doesn't it? Okay, but it's even more post-apocalyptic than you think. And I am thinking of the Thunderdome movie again. Okay, so the space German / Pleiadians. I mean, I know that they said there's more than a dozen species of Pleiadians. I bet a couple of them are space Germans. I bet. Okay, I'll go along with that. Let's play along. I mean, it's a mental exercise. Let's use our imagination. We have space brothers. They are space Germans. Okay, and they come down and they give us a little back to it. They give back to us a little bit, and it all looks like magic to us. But as I said, it's all been around for a long, long time. Okay, here's something to think about. I wrote down. Okay, perhaps there are a handful of races of Pleiadians. Some are all, could be space Germans, but according to what I've heard, there are trillions of space Germans. There's trillions of them. We have almost 8 billion humans here on Earth. There's trillions of space Germans around the galaxy. Does that make you understand better, like what a spider hole we're in here on surface planet Earth? We have no idea what's going on out there. They're all over the place. And that's just the space Germans. There's all kinds of beings that we don't know anything about out there, not told about for a reason. And it's basically for control, right? But we're breaking away. Thanks for tuning in. I'm trying to fire you up and give you something to think about. So let me continue with the space Germans, because here's where I get a little antagonistic, okay? Maybe they look altruistic by reaching out and sharing knowledge, but it smells different to me, Breakaway Ray, because I feel like I'm going to borrow a Chris Rock scenario, okay? It feels like having my neighbor rob me, and then when I come home and find out I got robbed and I call the police, my neighbor comes next door and says, hey, I heard you got robbed. And then the next weekend he's having a garage sale and I buy back stuff that he stole from my house. Prove me wrong, space Germans. Bring the med bed while you're at it. Okay, so I'm going to use an expression right now, and I know it sounds vulgar to me, but I have a sensitive palate. I don't think it's vulgar, but I think it's the appropriate term to use here, okay? I'm going to use the term pussyfooting, as if you're walking around on eggshells. You're trying to be careful and you don't want to, overload anybody. I'm Breakaway Ray. I don't keep secrets. Here I go. Here's an expression. I apologize if it sounds vulgar, but stop pussyfooting around. Pleiadians, masters of disclosure. You guys come down. You're our space brothers and you share information with us. You're masters of disclosure. Come down and disclose. Come on STARCARD podcast and tell us what's going on. Let's collaborate right now. What are we waiting for? We are beyond the TV show Ancient Aliens, okay? I agree. That's like for kindergartners. We understand. You're all out there. Let's make contact. I know you're watching my show, okay? All right. You know who else needs to stop pussyfooting around, everybody? Us. We can stop pussyfooting around, okay? We can upgrade the whole situation with our collective intent and our magical spiritual powers. We could do it, before the week is out if we really put our minds to it. I know it's going to take some time, but let's all have faith and let's believe. So now, here's where I'm going to provoke some Pleiadians if I haven't already done so, okay? If I had a Pleiadian on the show, here are some questions I probably shouldn't ask. Probably going to cheese them off, okay? First of all, is it okay to call you space Germans? That's probably okay, right? Okay. Is it okay to call you space Nazis? Now, that's not okay, everybody. I want everyone to strike that term, okay? Because I had to present it, but I did it for comic effect. It's not okay to refer to space Germans that way. They will present a distinction. It's a distinction that I need to rehearse better before I present it to you, everyone. But I'm letting you know, just like I would let my students in my class know in my previous career not to use the N-word. Here's a different N-word. We are not going to use that expression that I just used. Okay, I'm still going to try to provoke them. Here I go. All right, because the rest of this is on target, I think. Okay, hey, space Germans, Pleiadians, are you still associated with former SS leader Klaus Barbie, ruler of Saturn's moon Titan? You guys still affiliated? What about the former? Well, he was a former Nazi, and now he's the head of Planet Ceres, which we never hear about. Planet Ceres, Ceres. Are you affiliated with that guy? I just want to see, if you're not space Nazis, are you still affiliated with those guys? That's one thing I'd like to know. I mean, let's be clear. Let's be clear, right? Okay. Because there's good and bad in all populations, right? If you take any kind of sports team, you have all types of people. Okay, you have guys that flirt with the law, and you have other guys that are upstanding citizens, right? Let's make a distinction. We're not going to generalize and stereotype. Okay, all right. By the way, space Germans, okay, are you still in the business of mind control? Are you still in the business of consciousness splitting? I feel like that's important for people on Earth to know more about. I mean, if you are involved with it, maybe you'd like to share with us how it works, why it's important, and assure us that no individual loses any part of themselves because of it. Okay, we could use some reassurance. I mean, because we hear some crazy stuff down here on planet Earth. All right. By the way, hey, space Germans, Pleiadians, are you still involved with Valhalla missions and straight up military abductions? Okay. By the way, space Germans, you guys are time travelers. I don't know if you know anything about this, but maybe did you have anything to do? Did you have a hand in the fires of the 1800s? Something that doesn't even show up in our history books? That's how ignorant we are. Yo, space brothers, Pleiadians, if you want to disclose some information to help us, can you explain what happened in the 1800s, please? What's up with all those fires? And then finally, I think this is the final one. Oh, no, it's the penultimate one, everybody. Okay. Hey, space Germans, if you're still tuning in, thanks for tuning in. Okay. Space Germans, how much of the Pleiadian agenda for surface planet Earth is set by black goo? How much is black goo involved with how you want to help us down here on surface planet Earth? Finally, my friend, my space German friend, would you like to have a beer drinking contest? Okay, so now we're going to invite the tarot world to comment on those themes, everybody. We're going to go downstairs. Let's check out my tarot table. And then right after this will be tarot for the audience. So I'm going to throw some, yeah, that's right. After this, it's going to be tarot for the audience. All right. So first of all, I'm going to throw some cards for the Annunaki. Then I'm going to throw some cards for the Pleiadians. And then I'm going to throw some cards for us, everybody. Let's have the tarot world give us some clues, some hints, some cultural tips for our interplanetary connection with people that we're family with. Let's face it, these are our long-lost cousins in lots of ways. All right, tarot world, you heard my spiel, my attempt at humor. I bragged about how fast I can drink a beer. Okay, we're inviting you now. You can give us the final word, please. Ooh, you're watching STARCARD. Here we go, tarot world. Could you please comment on our neighbors, the Anunnaki, the Space Germans, the Pleiadians, and how we can better integrate with their societies? They don't have to be hidden from us anymore. We know about them. Here we go, tarot world. The Anunnaki, the Pleiadians, and one for us. The Anunnaki, the Pleiadians, the Space Germans, one more for us. The Anunnaki, thanks for being good sports, guys. The Space Germans, I can't wait to talk to you in person. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Let's see what the tarot world has to say. All right, want to make sure I get everything visually set up here. Great. Here we go. First, the Anunnaki, the Six of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the world. So the Six of Pentacles talks about giving and receiving. It also talks about charity. Like, you know, look at this guy. He thinks he's so big because he's so wealthy, and he's throwing, you know, little pennies to the poor, starving hands reaching out for anything, okay? And that's because the Anunnaki are our landlords, says the Emperor, and they're in control of the world. They certainly believe that. There's our friends, the Anunnaki. Are we on fire already, everybody? Let me tell you, my head was ringing for like 3 hours before I turned on the camera today. All right, provoking the Pleiadians. Here we go. The Nine of Cups. Well, we were talking about drinking earlier, and this is the Wish Come True card. Here's the Sun card that says everything's going to be all right. Oh, this sure looks like our friends, the Space Germans, the Space Brothers. The Seven of Pentacles talks about growing things and cultivating things over a long period of time. It is a wish come true when our Space Brothers come down to Earth to help us out so we can grow as a civilization. Wow. All right, so I am totally convinced, everybody, based on these two Akashic piles, that the tarot world has some action for us to take. Okay, so let's see. The Two of Wands, the universe likes our plan. The universe gives us the green light. We should go for it because we're watching STARCARD podcast. We're learning about the age of Aquarius and the universe around us. Look, it's got the 7 stars. That's the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. Unbelievable. And finally, how do we get there? The Four of Swords says through meditation, because that's where all your powers are. Turn off the TV, turn off the phone, put it on airplane mode, close your eyes, and sit for a couple hours, okay, with your intent, and then meet our family out in space. That was awesome, Tarot World. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, it's time for tarot for the audience. Let me adjust things. Okay, one moment. I know it was a long show, everybody, but I got it off my chest. All right, so I'm going to go through the chat now and say hi to people. Then I'm going to find their name tags. If you're new to the show, I'm going to make you a name tag. And then, you know what I'm going to do? I think we're okay. And then I'll go through the chat one more time and make sure I identify specific requests. Don't worry if you don't have a specific request. The Tarot World knows what you want to talk about. All right. So let's get the mouse and go through the chat. Hi, Jason, Missing Type 420. Thanks for joining me. Hello, Arizona Raven. Hi, Spider Bite. Hey, Mrs. NW5 Judy, I saw you earlier on in the show. Thanks for tuning in right away. That was awesome. Hey, Nishan, welcome back. All right. Hi, Lisa Talcott. Look at that. Hey, Kimberly Bamford. Sweet. Who else? Puck Elf. Hey, Puck Elf. All right. No wonder there's a lot of chat. Puck Elf's in the house. Hey, Julia Anchorhaven. Thanks for tuning in. Safe Haven's here. Hi, Safe Haven. I'm going to read the chat after the show, everybody. I'm not going to do it now, but I am going to look for tarot requests. And I want to make sure I'm not leaving anybody out. I'm looking for names right now. I'm so excited to see everybody here. We've had a great week, right? We had a nice string of shows, a lot of views. Hey, Derek's here. Hi, Derek. Woo Rider. Okay, wow. What a crowd. And there's Namira. Hi, Namira. Hi, Namira. Just scroll. The chat just keeps going up. Hang on, I'm not done. Well, hello. Starry Night 08U. Maybe OBU. You know what? I don't want to lose Starry Night. I want to make a name tag right now. Thanks for being patient, everybody. While the teacher gets his act together. All right, I'm making you a Schoolhouse Starry Night. I mean, I was really drawn to your name. Okay, great. I haven't gone all the way yet, everybody. I still got to go scroll up a little bit more. All right. I just saw Judy's first message. No regrets. Let me go through these name tags and find some more name tags here. Did I say Arizona Raven was here? Yes. Julia Anchorhaven. Yeah, hey, everybody, if you don't want a reading, that's fine also. But I do encourage you now to like type in the chat, like in capital letters, no reading, thank you. Otherwise, I'm going to throw cards. I presume people who are here want a reading. I'm trying to do this expeditiously. Jason, missing time 420. Namira. Safe Haven. Spider Bite. Puck Elf. Woo Rider. Hey, I think I got to draw the line. Maybe someone could draw the line for me down there in the chat. I don't think I could take on any more requests. I'm not done with the name tags, everybody. There's a few more people. I got to get their name tags out, but that's already quite a handful. So if someone hasn't already done it, I'm going to go ahead and draw the line myself. Yeah, thanks, Arizona Raven. I got one too. Okay. I have to go through hearts. Some of those hearts still look pretty good. Some of them hearts are still beaten. There's Judy. I heart you, Judy. Okay. And then I got some shamrocks and snow people. We're almost there, everybody. Spider Bite, I see your question. I'm not sure if that question is for me. I'd be happy to clarify, but I don't get it. I can't wait to read the chat. So Jason, does that, I saw your message. Are you, if you're declining, let me know. That's what it looks like. I'm happy to have you here. I haven't learned my lesson. I should not be reading the chat. Kimberly Bamford, right? You're out there. Lisa's out there. Yeah, was I asking a question? I don't know. So I got a lot of shamrocks I'm going through right now. Yeah. Nishan's out there, right? Is it Nishan? Nishan's out there, I think. Okay. Yeah, right on, Nishan. Oh, it was you. Okay, because there's someone who has a similar spelled name, and I didn't want to get confused. Thank you, Nishan. Gosh, are you guys? I don't know if you're talking about the StarCard podcast studio. I should not be. Yeah, I can't wait to read the chat much later. All right, so here's what I got going. Nishan is here. Judy, Lisa, and Kimberly. Namira, Safe Haven, Missing Time 420, Arizona Raven, Puck Elf. I'm probably going to throw him one card, but I'm going to double check the chat. I think Judy only wants 3 cards. Julia, Spider Bite, and Starry Night. Starry Night, I'm going to move you toward the front, but not the front of the line. Welcome to the show, Starry Night. I kind of want to toss for Judy and Puck Elf right away and get some specific requests out of the way so it's easier for me to keep track of things. And Lisa and Kimberly, I know you know I enjoy your company. Maybe the feeling is mutual. I'm going to be putting you ladies down at the bottom of the pile there. I know you'll have fun. And Nishan, you're here. So I want to go through right now and just check and make sure there's no specific requests. Oh, I see what's going on now. Oh, I will be interesting to look at the chat much later. Okay, I'm checking the chat now for specific requests, and then we'll get started. Here we go. Judy, 3 cards. Robin Wood for Spider Bite. Okay. Okay. Namira, got it. I'm looking especially for capital letters and looking for requests. I get to read the chat after the show. Someone said they were born in 1920. Oh, wow. Wow, Julia, you look great. Okay, let's see what else we got going here. Oh, Safe Haven, 88 gemstones. Stand by. Oh, 1 card good for Arizona Raven. Got it. All right, so first let me get the 88 gemstones. That was Safe Haven. Okay. Stand by, please. We're almost ready. All right. Judy's talking about a face. We drew the line. Now I'm getting caught up here. Do I have a ghost in my house? Is that what's going on? Oh, Puck Elf. Will I be able to recover? All right. Very good. Let's start right there, Puck Elf. Okay, I'm going to start with Puck Elf. Here we go, Puck Elf. We're about recovering equipment. So, and I'll even do the unboxing. Yeah, that's right. Here we go. So, Safe Haven, I'm going to take care of Puck Elf. We're going to use this, and then we'll go right to yours. And then I got Spider Bite over here, and like I mentioned, Judy, 3 cards, and Starry Night, and that giant pile of readings. Okay, so we're unboxing first for Puck Elf. We're looking for a yes or no question, or yes or no answer. Be smarter to use the other deck, but Puck Elf knows tarot, and we can figure it out together. All right, Puck Elf, thanks a lot for trusting in me to deliver a helpful answer. You really make me feel valued, Puck Elf. I appreciate your support. I see you in the chat saying, smash that like button. Right on, Puck Elf. All right, Tarot World, could we please have a helpful message for our friend Puck Elf down under? Will he recover his equipment? Oh, and can we have a couple of details about that, please? I think these cards, I don't want to get too fancy, but you know what? Let's take a look. When I asked, will you get your equipment back? The answer I got was the Hierophant. I'm not sure if that's a yes card or not. I can find out. Stand by, please. The Hierophant. It's a maybe card. I'm looking right down here in the corner. It's a maybe card. So you might get it back, but then it looks like there's a story that fell out for you here. I mean, for entertainment purposes only, maybe you'll get it back. The Chariot says, keep going, keep looking, don't give up on it. It's a maybe. The Queen of Pentacles says, be sensible, be practical, don't overextend yourself. There's still a chance, okay? The Empress says you're probably going to be using some kind of magic or getting some kind of spiritual help. Like if you can't actually find your equipment, it might get replaced, because the Empress needs you to have that equipment, okay? And the Empress says that you're really in control because you actually have communication with the spirit world and your spirit guides. And then you have the King of Pentacles, which seems to favor the yes rather than the maybe. I wish you a lot of luck, but wait, there's one more card for Revelation, Puck Elf. The Three of Swords. What a painful episode for you. I'm so sorry, that I'm hoping it's just a misplaced equipment. I would feel bad if someone did something to hurt anyone else, especially my friend Puck Elf. That's not nice. So, but I know here on Surface Planet Earth, that's what happens sometimes, right? What do they say? A lot of people are here on Earth just to provoke us, to force us to recognize how powerful we really are and to focus our energies. Puck Elf, good luck to you. We're all rooting for you. Hope you find that equipment. Thank you. Yeah. Here we go. Next. Safe Haven, one of the 88 gemstones. So I'm going to go right to Safe Haven. Got the same deck out, Safe Haven. Here we go. These cards are for Safe Haven. How about an inspirational message for our friend Safe Haven? I'm so glad Safe Haven keeps tuning in. This is great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate everyone's digital support. Here we go, Safe Haven. We're going to throw some cards for you. These cards for Safe Haven. 1111. These cards are for Safe Haven. Thanks a lot, Tarot World. All right, Safe Haven, it's all for entertainment purposes only. Wow, these cards look really nice, don't they, in the daylight? Here we go. First up, the Two of Cups. Oh, I'm so excited. Safe Haven, Two of Cups. Here's a message from the spirit world. It's like a 20th century call from the operator. Will you accept a collect call? Will you accept the charges? It's a message from the spirit world. Yes, we're going to accept the charges. Here comes your message. Seven of Swords. Something was hidden. Something's going to be revealed. Was somebody getting away with something? Not anymore. Temperance. I quickly had it in my imagination, someone working at a cash register in a supermarket, and a customer comes up with the groceries, and as the groceries are getting bagged, her toddler, a 2 or 3-year-old, takes a piece of candy from the stand because, it's a little kid, and the little kid wants the candy. Now, as the person behind the cash register, we maintain our cool. Everything's going to be cool. Did they think they were getting away with something? No, they're not getting away with it. We see what's going on. Okay. And Ace of Swords says it's the truth. We see the real truth. No need to get excited. You have the real truth on your side. Like, if the court ever said, like if the judge ever said, do you have any documents to prove your case? you wouldn't go on and on for 5 minutes about how you have the documents. You just present the documents. Okay. It's the people that talk a lot in court would be the ones saying, I don't have the documents, but this, and that. Okay. So you don't need to get excited at all. This was easily discovered. We knew it all along. The truth is on our side. So the Ace of Cups says this is going to bring the Ace of Cups says that this is going to bring new life, maybe even, new baby, proposal, marriages. Okay. And the Three of Cups talks about celebration. So, I want to say this looks like small potatoes. In a way, it's almost like don't even get too excited. Don't reveal how excited you are. Once you've discovered, this information, okay, no need to get excited because now you see how it's going to come out. It's going to be worth celebrating. All right, Safe Haven, you're welcome. You beat me to the punch there. Thank you again, Safe Haven. Puck Elf, again, I'm reading your chat. I agree with you. I totally agree. And I think that with the Empress card, remember the Empress needs you to have something. So maybe you're going to get upgraded. Maybe there'll be an upgrade coming your way. Anyway, let's go next to Spider Bite because she wanted this specific deck. Thank you for inviting me to read, Spider Bite. Glad you're here. Here we go, Spider Bite. These cards are for you. All right, way to go, Tarot World. You're so helpful, so creative. Everyone enjoys your messages. This card wanted to come out. These cards are for Spider Bite. Thanks for the helpful message for Spider Bite. Here we go. First up, the King of Wands says, it's the big picture. Okay, here comes the big picture, Spider Bite. Wow, well, part of the big picture is you're watching STARCARD podcast. Let's read about the Star Card. Where'd that book go? The Star Card. Come on, Breakaway Ray, get all excited. It's the Star Card again. Yay, woo! It's the Seven Sisters. Go Pleiades. Okay, the Star Card, hope and faith, a blending of the best of the past and present, bright prospects, mastering the occult arts, and awareness of two worlds. Totally sounds like today's show. This would be a good summary of today's show, but these cards are for Spider Bite. Right. Hey, it's a new adventure. Again, sounds like my show, but these cards are for Spider Bite. And you're totally in control. A theme of the show, and these cards are for Spider Bite. It's multi-dimensional tarot. Woohoo! And so, finally, Spider Bite, you're off on a new adventure. It's going to be so fun watching all the garbage fall down and getting reorganized. Again, you're totally in control on this new adventure, Spider Bite. That is awesome. Way to go. Thanks for inviting me to read. All right, next up, Judy wants 3 cards. All right, Judy, I'm going to stay with this deck. These cards, and Starry Night, I have you on deck. All right. And by the way, if you're waiting for a reading, everybody, and you want to be more specific on your reading, you could probably put it in the chat, and I wouldn't lose track of it. These cards are for Judy. I think Judy, again, said 3 cards. So here we go. Tarot World, shooting off your fireworks. Can we have 3 cards for Judy, please? Out in the UK. StarCard Podcast. Your place for Intercontinental Tarot Card Throwing. These cards are for Judy. Just 3 cards, please. Wow. 9 of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, 9 of Swords. Wow. Be careful what you wish for. There's a wish that came true. And now that you have this wish, there's new concerns. Kind of like when you move into a new home. It's a wish come true. It's a brand new opportunity. Oh, but there's always stuff to fix and always things to do and always things to organize and resort. Judy, I hope those cards helped. Thank you very much for inviting me to read and for tuning in. It's so great. I appreciate it. All right. Hooray, Starry Night. Here we go. The Tarot World has a message for you. Whoops. Well, I mean, this card popped out while I was talking to you. It's the Page of Cups. It's the happy surprise guy. Maybe there's a happy surprise on the way for you, Starry Night. Let's give these cards a shuffle. All right, Tarot World, please meet Starry Night. Please show us what Starry Night needs to see. Please tell us what Starry Night needs to hear. In your own inimitable way. You're so amazing, Tarot World. Amazing cards. These cards are for Starry Night. These cards are for Starry Night. Thanks for tuning in, Starry Night. Wow, it's a long show today. My fault. Okay. Here we go, Starry Night. First up, it's the Eight of Cups card. It's the walk-away card. The Ten of Cups, sorry, the Ten of Wands talks about a lot of work. So like so far, it sounds like we're walking away from a lot of work. A lot of completed work. I mean, we worked really hard. We made those cups look really good. But anyway, now that it's done, I made the place better than the way I found it. I'm walking away. I'm going to meditate, says the Four of Swords. I'm going to consider everything. And then the Eight of Pentacles says, I'm going to get to work on what I have, and I've got the long-term view in mind. You're quite industrious. You have a good work ethic. You also have good discernment. You know when to give up and not to perseverate. You're balanced in both your, your mind and, how, when you're dreaming versus when you're awake. It seems pretty balanced. Okay. These are just cards. I'm just trying to tell a story here. Wow. And I'm going to say that this meditation thing that you got going, it's a real benefit to you because the Seven of Wands says, there's challenges, but you're up to meeting all these challenges. Not only that, you have the higher ground because the Four of Cups is always talking about meditation and appreciating, what the universe gives us, making do with what we have and building upon it. I'm not saying that you actually do this, Starry Night, but I'm getting this idea of someone who finds something like at a flea market and you take it home and you polish it and you clean it up, and now it's a very valuable part of your household. Just as an example. Starry Night, thanks for joining us. I hope you're having a good weekend. Hope you tune in again. I'm going to give these a toss, and it looks like Jason's up now. Missing time 420. Oh, hey, Jason. Wait a second. I got the neon deck here. Here we go, Jason. Woo. Wow, we got a lot of people in the crowd today. Oh, I have just as many likes as viewers right now. Hey, I love it, everybody. Thanks for those likes. I really appreciate it. All right, these cards are for Jason. Missing time 420. Thanks for tuning in, Jason. I appreciate your support. Here we go, Tarot World. Please show us what Jason, missing time 420, needs to see. Please tell us what Jason, missing time 420, needs to hear. Thank you. Yeah, I got to get going. Wow. Here we go, Jason. I'm not in a hurry for you. Here we go. First up, more hard work. It's the Ten of Wands guy. There's a big burden. Well, we're going to lighten your load today, Jason. The Eight of Wands, it could be flight, it could be travel, it could be something happening fast. Maybe you're gearing up for some kind of road trip. The Wheel of Fortune talks about good luck, bad luck, talks about destiny in lots of ways, and how the wheel turns, how karma comes back at you, it boomerangs. And then finally, well, the Knight of Wands talks about charging forward energetically and animatedly, con gusto. So it really does look like a vacation, like it's time for a vacation. We saved up for it and we're ready to travel to wherever we're going to go. We're going to have a good time. I mean, that's certainly like a good mindset to have no matter what. Wow. Well, this kind of goes with the vacation theme there, Jason, because you have the Ace of Cups, new life, a breath of fresh air, proposals, marriage, having a good time. And then the Eight of Cups, you know what? It was a good vacation, but now it's time to walk away and get back to the grind. Anyway, Jason, I hope that works out for you. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. I'm going to give these a toss, and Julia is next. Yeah, you're welcome, Jason. Cool deal. Thank you. Here we go. Julia. Here we go, Julia. I'm going to throw the Ethereal Bloom cards today. Hope you're doing well out in the UK. These cards are for Julia Anchorhaven. Hey, everybody. If you can spell Anchorhaven, you can find Julia's channel. Where did I see somewhere? She's cranking out videos twice a day or something like that. It's quite a lot of content. It's got quite a lot of followers. A lot of stuff happening in Julia's channel. These cards are for Julia. Here we go, Julia. First up, wow, the Empress. Looks good, Julia. The Emperor. Wow, Julia. The Five of Pentacles doesn't worry me at all. And the Three of Wands. That's why. Okay, so the Empress and the Emperor, they're in control of their part of the planet. They're in control of their inner worlds and their outer worlds. They're pumping out videos twice a day. Then the Five of Pentacles, sometimes it talks about, poverty, hard times, feeling left out, feeling abandoned. But you know what? When you consider things, Julia, who else does what you do? Of course, you probably feel a little bit isolated. Do you know anybody else who does what you do? That might be like a thing. By the way, do you know anybody else who's in as much control of their life as you are? And, you're delivering a lot of good information. And the Three of Wands is the card that says luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So keep cranking it out. You are expanding. And while you're expanding everyone else's perspective and understanding. Keep up the good work, Julia. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hi, Jason. I see your message. I don't know. The vacation's like a mindset. Anyway, what do I know? I'm just having fun telling stories. Everything's cool. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you very much. I don't know. So Julia, hey, hang on a second. I want to say hi to my friend Julia real quick. I just want to, it's my show. Julia, your comment in the chat is filled with a dichotomy, right? You should feel in control because you're about to go on, right? You're the one in control. Any of those life coaches would say, it all starts with the control on the inside. But have confidence. Think about where you were 8-9 years ago. You weren't doing this. This is amazing stuff that you're doing. I'm going to go back downstairs and throw some more cards. Okay, who are we on? Arizona Raven. Here you go, Arizona Raven. Yeah, you're welcome, Julia. All right. These cards are for Arizona Raven. Out in my time zone. Yeah, I'm going to have to get going, so that's okay. Sometimes less is more. These cards are for Arizona Raven. Puck Elf knows what I'm talking about. As long as you really mean it, you can go for a while, even on one card. These cards are for you, Arizona Raven. I'm going to give it a try. Ace of Swords. Have some truth. Eight of Pentacles. You're working on the right thing. You're channeling your energy in the correct direction. The Knight of Cups. You're going in the right direction, and there's the Knight in Shining Armor energy about it. I mean, I don't know. I understand that, you have like a regular life and you take vacations and things, but aren't you like a little bit invaluable in some ways where you're at? I mean, very few people accomplish what you can. I'm making a wild guess, obviously. I don't know anybody. And then the Five of Swords guy shows up. He's the winner-take-all guy. He's competitive. But again, I don't think that troubles you at all. In fact, you might even be able to adopt that attitude, so that you overcome shadows and obstacles. You have the truth on your side. You got a good work ethic. You got a smile on your face. And you know what? You're entitled to take it all and to go for it and to win. You shouldn't have boundaries. You shouldn't have self-limiting beliefs. You're Arizona Raven. At the time that we are in our lives, at the time when we are here in 2026, we don't need to have self-imposed restrictions. Anyway, Arizona Raven, have an inspiring and expanding day. Thanks for inviting me to read. I appreciate you tuning in. Wow, it's been a long show. Namira, let's throw some cards for you. Oh, wait, do I have to toss these? Thank you, Tarot World. That was awesome. Hi, God's Flow. I just saw that you showed up. I've already drawn the line. I won't be throwing cards for you today. I'm sorry, the show's running kind of long. But thanks for tuning in. I know you're watching all the time. Thanks a lot, God's Flow. All right, let's throw some cards for Namira. Here we go, Namira. Thanks for tuning in. All right on, Arizona Raven. Thanks for your message. Okay, these cards are for Namira. Thank you, Tarot World. Namira's back for more. Here's some cards for Namira. All right. Here we go, Namira. The 5 of Cups. Oh, is someone disappointed? No use crying over spilled milk. We'll clean that up and go play games later. Oh, I guess there's more of a mess. The Tower card. Did someone knock down the Jenga tower? Did we not clean up our Lego bricks yet? Okay, hang on. Things are getting better. What? The 5 of Swords. Are you guys roughhousing in the living room? Okay, can we take it easy, please? Because we got to clean up. We're going to have company soon. Oh, geez. I'm supposed to turn this into a positive? All right, watch me, Namira. Hey, Namira, you got the 5 of Cups card, which is the disappointment card. Then you got the Tower card. The house is a mess. Then you got the 5 of Swords. The grandkids are fighting. Hey, they were fighting so hard and roughhousing so hard, someone got hurt. But you know what? Here comes Grandma Namira to make it all better. She can handle all these situations. What do you do when you're disappointed? Grandma, can I have help? What happens when you need to clean something up? Grandma, can you help? What happens when someone's antagonizing you and you need to talk to somebody? Hey, Grandma. And 3 of Swords, you got a boo-boo? Hey, Namira, that reading is for you. Have a great day. You're a hero in your house. Thank you very much for inviting me to read. See, I turned that into a positive. Dude, I'm going to pat myself on the back after this show. Thank you, Tarot World. I accept the challenge. Here, these cards are for Lisa Talcott. That's right, Namira. All right, here we go, Lisa. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Thanks to everyone tuning in. You know, we had like the same amount of viewers almost for every show this week. So I know you guys are following along, you guys and you ladies. You're all very special to me. Thank you. It's great never meeting you. All right, that was a little facetious humor there. This is for Lisa Talcott. Here we go, Lisa. These cards are for you, Lisa Talcott. And we'll give it a little Lisa Talcott flavor here. There we go. Oh, the 9 of Swords. Well, we'll get this out of the way right away. The anxiety, the sleepless nights. Oh, well, here's your reassurance. The 10 of Swords card says, it's the end of a painful episode. The bad times are behind us. Yay, the good times are in front of us. Domestic bliss with the 10 of Pentacles, divine harmony, long-term wealth. Yay, Lisa, the Sun card says everything's going to be all right. So get on that pony and ride and have a good time. Yay, Lisa. Thank you, Tarot World. Hey, Namira, that's an interesting story you just shared. Cool. All right. Kimberly Bamford. Thanks, Kimberly, for tuning in. Let's go to this deck. Yeah, thank you, Jason. Exactly. I saw. Oh, and I've got Nishan at the still on deck. Sorry, Nishan, to make you wait. Anyway, thank you, Jason and Lisa, for the music. Sweet Georgia Brown. These cards are for Kimberly Bamford. I wonder if Kimberly Bamford ever watches Emeril Lagasse, the chef, the TV chef, you know, because he's always saying bam when he puts the seasoning on it. Oh, bam. There's a 3 of swords. We're going to play with this one, Lisa. Sorry, Kimberly. We're going to play with this one, Kimberly. That's why I need name tags. Here we go. These cards are for Kimberly. I want to say hi to Danica Crabtree. I saw that she just came in. Danica, I'm sorry I won't be able to get to your reading on air today. You know, I drew the line some time ago, but I appreciate you dropping in. Hope you tune in again sometime. You can always email me if there's something I can help with. All right. So Kimberly, the 3 of swords popped out while we were shuffling, but we're not worried about a little 3 of swords. Okay. We've been there before. We know how to handle this. Okay. The King of Pentacles talks about wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, abundance, prosperity, and generosity. And the King of Pentacles has seen heartbreak before, but he came out on top. Here's the 5 of swords. I'm glad that I'm almost done throwing cards because this card keeps showing up today. So the 5 of swords talks about conflict, competition, defeat, disagreements, winning at all costs, sneakiness, bullies, theft, abusive relationships. Okay, again, King of Pentacles has seen it all. The 6 of Wands is public recognition, self-confidence, progress, and victory. And the Ace of Pentacles is about abundance, opportunity, manifestation, new career or financial opportunity, new venture, and prosperity. So you're anchored by the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. Like from Ace to King, that is the full spectrum of Pentacles, right? And this one, by the way, leads to a new opportunity. Along the way, there's public recognition of what's really going on and the real dynamics. And, you know, sometimes pain is required. I'm going to read the reverse 3 of swords. Negative self-talk, releasing pain, forgiveness, optimism, recovery. So Kimberly Bamford, I'm telling myself this as much as I'm suggesting this to you. And that is, you know, we have to remember that we are the King of Pentacles. Everything that happens to us happens for us. Sometimes we could get down on ourselves because it seems like it never lets up, does it? It never lets up. It's always the same thing. But we do recognize it. And since we're the King of Pentacles and we know how this works, we're always there to find the next opportunity. So I really think you're in good stead, even though there sure are a lot of swords around. You got enough pentacles to make it through, Kimberly. Thanks for inviting me to read. And finally, Nishan. All right, Nishan. You got 2 name tags. Let's throw you 2 cards for now, 2 cards for later. Let's see how that works. Here we go. And this is the last throw of the day, everybody. You're welcome, Kimberly. I really appreciate your feedback. It helps out a lot. Okay. All right, Tarot World. Time to shoot off your last fire. Well, you know what? Hey, Nishan, can you stand by a second? Hey, Tarot World, you know what decision I want to make after this camera is turned off. And I want to know, should I call to cancel or should I go? Should I call to cancel or should I go? I think I should be canceling. Should I be canceling? I didn't want it to say no. Anyway, I'm going to shuffle these cards for Nishan now. All right, Tarot World, thanks for that message. I'm so skeptical I didn't listen to it. I'm such a terrible psychic. I don't listen to my intuition. Anyway, here we go, Nishan. These are for you. 2 cards for now, 2 cards for later. 2 for now, 2 for later. Hey, Nishan, there's mystery and illusion, suggests the moon card. Mystery, illusion, dreams. It even says fear and anxiety, but it also talks about intuition and the subconscious, okay, and even premonition. And the Tower card, maybe there's a premonition of a sudden change coming, sudden change, a revelation, an awakening. maybe there is a sudden change, and it may not just be on the outside world, right? Maybe you can sense, your intuition is expanding, your psychic skills are building. And, well, I guess I would be correct about that, because you have the Hermit card and the Magician card. The Hermit card, he's turning inward to find his spiritual gifts and learn more about his soul. And the Magician makes the magic happen at the right time. Congratulations, Nishan. Thanks for joining the party. It's great to have you here. Can't have enough magical people watching STARCARD. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank everyone for all the lovely chat that I cannot wait to read. I'm glad people had a good time. You guys made my day. My name is Breakaway Ray. Now get out there and make your own day. I'll see you next time on STARCARD Podcast. Thank you very much. Have a good one, everybody. See you next time.